do we have a lot to talk about in terms of some honest conversations about this team?
Yeah. When you have 15 hits, you should win ball games. When your starter goes 6 1/3, 2 earned runs, you should win ball games. The Orioles had both of those today and were unable to get the win. And it was just infuriating and so frustrating because it felt like at every time there were guys on base, they had traffic going, but they were unable to get anything else after I'm looking now after, why am I blanking? After the 4th inning. So it was another thing like yesterday. The Orioles get to the starter early, and then the Tampa Bay Rays bring in the bullpen, and it was over. The Orioles were unable to get any runs in. Obviously, we're all going to go back to the big situation, bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 8th with Ryan Mountcastle up. That happens. Like I see people upset saying Ryan Mountcastle is one of the hottest hitters on the planet right now. And when he's as hot as he is, he just makes things happen. He obviously had already gotten a hit today. You accept that. Like, you take that situation 10 out of 10 times, and it probably took I would say 8 out of 10 times that situation works out for you, whether if it's a fly ball, a hit, something. Usually Ryan Mountcastle gets that run in. It just sucks that they're unable to do it with such a big situation and a big moment of the game.
Yeah, I mean, based off how all the Orioles hitters are playing right now, who else would you rather have up in that situation? Gunnar,
yeah,
Jordan Westburg, and Ryan Mountcastle. Yeah. You could throw Adley in that conversation too if you wanted to. But Mountcastle, he's one of the guys one up in that situation. And we were on here singing his praises yesterday for a 2-homer game. And, well, look, the result was not what you wanted. It was a disaster. I'm not shying away from that fact. But that at-bat was just an encapsulation of Baltimore all day. They left double-digit runners on. It was, they had 13 hits, if I'm not mistaken, or they left 13 on. Multiple walks. Yeah. Urias gets hit by a pitch. I mean, they left so many guys on base today. And that, Zach, you and I have been talking about it really ever since we started doing this, and even dating back further to just on the streams with everybody. This offense is so good, but it's so inconsistent. And with Gunnar, he hits the leadoff homer, and that's another solo shot, which, again, Gunnar's really comfortable in that leadoff spot. Like, it just feels like he's settled in there. And actually, back-to-back Utah Street days for the Baltimore Orioles. Anthony Santander.
Yeah, weird, because honestly, I was surprised yesterday was the first one of the season. I felt like a few guys had gotten a hold of them. But, first one of the season yesterday, then back-to-back today, obviously. But you hit the nail on the head. It's the inconsistency. It's you get 15 hits, you leave 13 guys on base, and you're like, how does this team – even when we keep saying need to get the on-base percentage up. You need to get the on-base percentage up and get guys in. The on-base percentage – was through the roof today. Everyone was getting on base. No one was getting in, and that's what really sucked.
Yeah, so 15 hits, my mistake on the Orioles for the day. But still, it's just we've seen them have games where they live up to their full potential. When you have a guy in Cole Irvin, and we'll talk about the pitching staff more in depth, but when you have a pitcher in Cole Irvin who, again, gives up 8 hits but only 2 runs, when you have a starting pitcher that goes out there and is only charged 2 runs in a game. And even if you want to take it a step further, 4 runs with this Orioles offense should not be as insurmountable as it feels for them right now, where it just feels like the offense can be so inconsistent at times. We know they have a bunch of good hitters. We know their offense is good, but it just feels like once an opposing team, the Orioles have notoriously started slow is, I don't know if slow is the right word I want to use, because obviously Gunnar just moonshots that ball out of there.
Yeah.
Pretty fast start, right? But it seems like in the earlier portions of the game, they're not able to string a bunch of runs together. And then when a team is able to put together 3-4 runs, which again should not be insurmountable, it just feels like for the Orioles, it's like, are they going to get on track? And it felt like in that 8th inning, all right, they get the bases loaded, 1 out. This is exactly where the Orioles want them. And this was one of the, I'd say, decently rare times they were not able to be the cardiac comeback kids, and you still win the series, but you can't secure the sweep. And I know we're going to get into some of just, again, it just felt like such a weird game from the start. I mean, Gunnar Henderson homer is always fun at the beginning of the game, and the way he hit that ball, but it just felt like that was really the only, like, okay, we're here. And then it just felt like, for the most part, they disappeared for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because even the hits, it felt like so many hits were with 2 outs, nobody on. And then it would be a single here. And you're like, it almost like I kept looking down and it'd be like, oh, they're at 9 hits, they're at 11 hits, at 12 hits, at 15 hits. And I'm like, how have we gotten this many hits? What feels like we're never on. And that's not even counting how many walks did we end up having? Actually, it was just Gunners too. So 17 guys on base. You need to win that ball game, especially when the other team is only putting up 4 runs.